Okay, this lesson is 7-9 on solving special products of binomials. Okay, when you have a special binomial, it's because it forms something. So let's look at this type of problem. If we have a plus b squared, well, if you remember the FOIL method, that means I would need two of these, which would be a plus b times a plus b. If we do the FOIL method, remember our first, that would give me a squared. Okay, let me pick a different color there. We're going to do our outsides, which is a times b, which is ab. And our insides, which is a times b, which is ab. Again, keeping it in alphabetical order. And then followed by our last, which is going to be b times b, which is b squared. Okay, putting this all together, I get a squared plus 1 gives me 2ab plus b squared. Whenever you get this as an answer, this format, it's called a perfect square trinomial. A perfect square trinomial is a trinomial that is a result of squaring a binomial. This is a binomial, meaning by 2, and it becomes a perfect trinomial, meaning 3 different sections. Let's try one with some numbers. So we have x plus 3 squared, which is going to be x plus 3 times x plus 3. Okay, here we go. So we do our first. X times x is x squared. We do our outsides, which is x times 3, which is 3x. We do the inside, which is 3 times x, which is 3x. Followed by the last, which is 3 times 3 is 9. Okay? Now let's go ahead and combine this all together. We have x squared. 3 plus 3 gives me 6x plus 9. Okay? Now let's try another one. All right, you have 4s plus 3t squared. This is 4s plus 3t times 4s plus 3t. Now, let's go ahead and FOIL it. Let's do our first. Okay, 4 times 4 is 16. S plus S is S2. Let's do our last. 4 times 3 is 12. And we put together S and T. Okay, we do our insides. 4 times 3 is 12. And again, we put together our S and T, keeping in alphabetical order. And let's go ahead and do our last. 3 times 3 is 9. T1 plus T1 is T2. All right, let's combine our like terms here in the center. 12 plus 12 is going to give me 24. But let's go ahead and write down everything else that we have. So we have plus 24 ST plus 9t squared. Again, making a perfect trinomial. Okay. We have a problem that looks like this. It's a little different. 5 plus m squared squared, which means I have 2 of these. So 5 plus m squared times 5 plus m squared. Okay? Well, let's go ahead and FOIL this out. We'll do our first ones. Okay, 5 times 5 is 25. Let's do our last ones. 5 times 1 is 5, and bring down your m squared. Let's do our insides. 5 times 1 is 5. And bring down our m squared. And let's do our last. Okay, 1 times 1 is 1. M, so I'm just going to put m. And then we have 2 plus 2, which is m to the 4th. Let's combine all of our terms. So we have 25 plus 10m squared plus m to the 4th. And again, you can always rewrite that if you'd like. That's up to you. All right, what if we have some with subtraction? Okay, let's work with those. So we have something that looks like this. X minus 6 squared. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. Write those out twice and FOIL it out. All right, let's do our first. X times x is x squared. Okay, let's do our last. That's going to be x times negative 6 is negative 6x. Let's do our insides. Negative 6 times x, again, is negative 6x. And let's do our outside, or our last numbers, I should say. Negative 6 times negative 6 is negative 36. All right, let's combine our inside numbers there. Can't do anything with that x squared, so bring that down. They both have negatives, so we add and keep the negative. So that's going to be 12x minus 36. Oh, actually, positive 36, excuse me. So that's negative, negative makes it positive 36. There you go. All right, try one more. Similar to that. So we have 2x minus 5y squared. So 2x minus 5y, 2x minus 5y, okay? Our first, 2 times 2 is going to be 4x. x1, so that's a 2. All right, let's do our last. Or outsides, outsides. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. And we have an x and we have a y. So x, y. Let's do our insides. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10 again. And we have an x and we have a y. Now let's do our last. So we have negative 5 times negative 5 is going to be positive 25. Y times y is going to be y squared. Now let's clean up that middle piece. So we get 4x squared, negative 10 gives me negative 20, xy plus 25y squared. All right, let's try this one. Now we have something that might have a cancellation in it. See if you can see it. You notice I'm multiplying by the same numbers and same variables, but I have an addition and a subtraction. And when that happens, you cancel out your middle term. So let's see if you can figure it out. Let's do our first. So that's x and x, which is x squared. Let's do our outers. That's x and negative 4, so that's negative 4x. Let's do our inners. That's going to be positive 4x. And let's do our last, which is going to be negative 16. All right, if you notice, this whole piece right here is going to cancel, leaving me with the answer of x squared minus 16. So if you wanted to do this as a shortcut, you could do this as a FOIL method, but just know that all you need to do are your first numbers and your last numbers. Your inside pieces don't matter. Okay, so let's see if you can look at this one. We have p squared plus 8q p squared minus 8q. And the only way my little cheater trick works is if you notice they are identical except for their signs. So I'm going to do it the cheater trick way and then I'll show you the long way. So I'm just going to do my first. P2 gives me P4. Okay, and I'm going to do my last. So 8 times negative 8 is going to give me negative 64. Q and Q gives me 2q squared. And that's my final answer. Again, if you want to see it worked out the long way, no problem. Just watch the blue. So again, I'm going to get p to the 4th doing my first. Okay, let's do our last. That's going to give me negative 8pq, or p squared q. And then we do our inside, which is going to give me positive 8pq, or squared q. It's a tongue twister. And then I'm going to do my last, which is going to give me negative 64q squared. Again, this middle piece cancels, and I wind up getting the answer I got at the very beginning. So if the little cheater trick way works for you, then you can try that. All right, let's see if you can do it on this one. All right, we have 10 plus b and 10 minus b. All right, are they written in the same order? Are they identical minus the signs? Yes. So I'm just going to do my first, which is going to give me 100, do my last, which is going to give me negative b squared. And that's my final answer. All right, so I hope this helps a little bit.